Hello. Is there anybody out there? Well, for my new followers and for my old followers, but for those of you who don't know yet who I am and what I do, I'm a journalist. I'm a writer, first and foremost. Um, I wrote this book like it was yesterday. Hi, Laura. I wrote this book. I published it in 2015. Back when I had an editor. I don't have an editor anymore. Sadly, my editor, Jay Spirer, passed away in 2017, I think it was, and he is sorely missed. Hi, Darla. So you guys who are on right now are very familiar with Storytime. Storytime, which doesn't have to be this book. It could be a lot of different things, but since it's Veterans Day, I thought that I would restart Storytime here on the Beach Report on YouTube with an excerpt from my book, like it was yesterday. Look, that's me. That's me in 2015. My hair is a different color now. God colored it differently. God colored it that color before, and now we've gone gray, so whatever. It's all good. Anyway, I'm in my bed, and I hope that you also are in your beds and that you have whatever you want to drink, little hot chocolate, maybe a beer. I don't know. Thank you, Darla. I am actually working on an excerpt to like it was yesterday. I can't tell you how much I learned from writing this book, from publishing this book, not writing it so much, but after I wrote it, I learned a heck of a lot. And a lot of the things that I learned had to do with 9/11, but also had to do with, in a different ways that society was reacting to 9/11 even now, 20 years later. It seems that this horrible event that changed our lives, all of our lives, is being forgotten. And that's why I wrote this book, so it's not forgotten. And every time I sign my book, I always say, never forget 9/11. Hi, Janet. All right, we only have 11 people. We need a few more people for story time. And I have to let you know that this is the first free story time that you're going to get because, and not that I'm not going to keep doing some free story times, but I am going to go over to, or I'm going to institute a membership channel. And you guys will, those of you who want story times, I'm sorry, but you'll have to pay for it, but it'll just be like $5 or $6 a month. You let me know what you can afford. Hi, Kathy. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you, Wake Up. I'm ready for bed. I'm exhausted actually. Hey, Maureen. But I know it's time to do story times again. And I know how much you love them, so all right, we only have 10 people watching. I need some more. I don't know what this chicken bake stuff is all about, but anyway, well, thank you. Um, it's very nice of you guys to say I look nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you all. I would like you just to listen though right now. Yeah, Darla lies. What is 16? What does that mean, 16? Why is everyone saying 16? Oh, you flatter me. You flatter me. All right. Are you guys ready for story time? Oh, that's how many people are watching. uh, so right now, I'm in the midst of doing story time. Oh, see, I know. Okay, 17 people. You know what? 17 is one of my favorite numbers. So let's start. All right, you guys ready? Again, this is an excerpt from this book I wrote called Like It Was Yesterday, A Journalist's Files Since 9/11. If you want to get your own copy, in the description is a link to buy the book. All right, here we go. So this chapter, and by the way, my book is kind of in two parts. The first half of my book is actually a diary and things I wrote starting on 9/11. I don't eat McDonald's food, not ever. And the other half of the book is different articles that I had written beginning right after 9/11 for different newspapers and magazines. Well, actually, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and some magazines. And different articles for 15 years after 9/11, throughout 15 years. A retrospective, if you will. Okay, I'm going to start now. You guys ready? Everybody's ready? Thank you for subscribing. Wake up. Thank you. Yes, everybody, like and subscribe, please. It helps me out. I appreciate it. All right. So this is from an article that was published May 31st, 2012. I believe this was published in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Great. If Darla's ready, everybody's ready. Let's go. And it's called American Legion Post Renamed for Fallen Hero. I keep losing my feed. What's up? What's up with this? Okay. I don't know. I'm on Wi-Fi. And now I lost my page. It's okay. I wrote this book. I'll find it. All right, I found it. Okay. All right, I know you're buffering. I know I just had a situation, but it looks like everything's okay now. Okay. All right, we're live now. Give me a sound check. I don't want to start reading for nothing. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Let me know. Let me know. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Kathy. All right, awesome. Thank you, Laura. I'm now going to start to read. All right, thank you, Maureen. Again, this article was posted on May 31st of 2012, and I believe it appeared in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Actually, I'm sure it appeared in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. American Legion Post renamed for fallen hero. Sorry, it's kind of hard for me to see right now. After this past Memorial Day, no one in the Laurel Gardens neighborhood of Ross Township will ever forget that Sergeant Joseph D. Caskey went to North Hills High School right down the street. His name and likeness are now memorialized on a large sign that hangs over the 6th Street entrance of the newly renamed Sergeant Joseph D. Caskey American Legion Post 80. Is anyone here from Pittsburgh? You might know this area. According to Bob Fleischl, commander of Post 80, the renaming of an American Legion post is a very significant event. We're rededicating the post in honor of a fallen Marine. It's historical and earth-shaking and heart-pounding for me and all the other members of the military, he said just before the event. A Westview native and 2004 graduate of North Hills High School, Sergeant Caskey, 24 years old, was the commander of his 50-member convoy in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, when the vehicle he was in was hit by an improvised explosive device, an IED, on June 26, 2010. This was his second tour of duty. Sergeant Caskey also served in Iraq in 2008. Rededicating the post in honor of a young man is out of the ordinary, noted Mr. Fleischl of Shaler. Bureaucracies usually wait, but we just elected to go with the younger veteran. This was a monumental decision, he said. When Sergeant Caskey died and his remains came back for his funeral, the reception of the community was overwhelming, recalled Mr. Fleischl. This made us see that honoring him as a young man of the community who made the ultimate sacrifice was the right decision. The Caskeys are a military family, going all the way back to World War I. Despite the sweltering heat, a large group of nearly 400 people, including the Ross Township Police Color Guard and Three Rivers Marines Corps League, and the active duty Marine Color Guard and rifle teams, listened to friends, family, and comrades give personal accounts of Sergeant Caskey's life and death and the effect he had upon everyone he'd ever met. They called him the German giant, said Captain Wilhelm Pendergrast, USMC. All kinds of legends are told about him now. How he could throw a football a quarter mile. Best looking man in the world. His magnetism compelled others to follow him, and his strength inspired others to make themselves strong. U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Jeremy Caskey, 34, recounted all the times he and his brothers would pass the American Legion post on their way to school. We never could have dreamed that this would happen, he said, of the post being renamed after his younger brother. Semper Fi. Marine Staff Sergeant Joshua Caskey, 31, suffered a traumatic brain injury from a suicide bomber during his service in Iraq and is now retired. He talked about how he feared for his brother's safety, especially after Joe embarked on his second tour of duty. I worried every single night that he was over there and he may not come home, said Joshua, adding that seeing the Caskey name on the American Legion post is an honor and a privilege. My brother laid down his life for this country, and I am damn proud of that, because this is the greatest country in the world. The biggest thing about today is that we're overwhelmed by the support we're getting, not just from our friends, but from people we don't even know who are part of this community, said Sergeant Caskey's father, Reverend Gerald Caskey. We're basking in the sunlight of their compassion. It soothes the wound regarding our loss, but every time we drive by there, we'll see his name and what it represents. He added, this is a powerful reminder of a person willing to give his life for what he believed in. We're so grateful for the kindness of the people here in North Hills, and we know that we're not the only ones. Our hearts go out to any family that has had to live with this and go through it. However, the circumstances under which he died were honorable and heroic, and it makes somewhat of a difference to know that his death wasn't senseless. High school buddy John Trembulac, then 25, of McCandless, said that the sign gives him comfort. It will be nice to drive past here and see it, said Mr. Trembulac, noting that he and his fiancée, Stephanie Schola, plan on taking a picture of themselves beneath the sign on June 2nd, their wedding day. Joe introduced us. Sergeant Caskey's girlfriend, Megan Clark, 25, of Westview, will continue to honor his memory with the second annual Fearless 5K, which will take place in North Park's Boathouse on June 30th. Well, this is a while ago. 2012. Proceeds from the race benefit the Injured Marine Semper Fi Fund. Last year's event attracted more than 700 participants and raised $10,000. We're expecting an even bigger response this year, said Ms. Clark, founder of the event, which will feature family-friendly activities, vendors, raffles, and prizes. The message of the race is about taking something bad and turning it into something good. That was the message of Joe's funeral, and I think it's a good general philosophy. We need to respect these guys for what they did and what they continue to do for our country, said Mr. Fleischl. The American Legion is made up of all members of the armed forces, and every family is touched by someone in the military somewhere along their lineage. I don't think that the Fearless 5K is still happening, but I know that Joe Caskey's life is honored every single time anybody drives past the American Legion Post 80 in North Hills in Pittsburgh. And I have a really close, I have an affinity for the Caskey family. I feel like I'm kind of their personal bibliographer, if you will. I met the Caskeys, Joe Caskey's parents, actually, one day when I was looking for a story idea. Actually, I wasn't looking for a story idea. I was doing a story idea where my editor from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette at the time said, "Hey, Jill, go into North Park." And it was like a freezing cold day. It was, I don't know, it was some like March. And he says, go find something to write about in the park. and and I found the Caskies. And they're still my friends to this day. Anyway, thank you guys for listening and for thinking about Sergeant Joe Caskey on this day. He was a really special young man, and it breaks my heart that at the tender age of, what was he? I think he was 20, 25 or 26. For someone like that to lose their lives and to not be here anymore, especially after the way that war was handled in the very end. It's hard. But Veterans Day is a day when we remember the men and women in our lives, in our past, in our history, in our ancestry, who gave all for this country. I've written a lot of articles about veterans as a newspaper reporter, and I continue to honor veterans. With this book, that those are not his was not the only veteran that I talked about. There's also a chapter in here about Joe Caskey's brother Josh, when they gave him Homes for Hero. So it is hard, especially for those of us who have veterans in our families and in our lives. But Veterans Day is so that we can remember them and honor them, but most importantly, thank them. Thank them for the freedom that we have today. Thank them for the amazing, amazing country that we live in. Because freedom, it has to be earned. It's not free. What is it? Some gave all, but all gave some. Wait, all gave some, and some gave all. And the Caskeys definitely gave all for their country. Military family. Anyway, that's it. That's it for story time. I just wanted to read that chapter. I wanted to honor Veterans Day in that way, and definitely honor Sergeant Caskey and his family for what they gave for our country. It's a really good book. Actually, it's a really good book for people who are young and don't know anything about 9/11, especially the way that our country came together after 9/11. So, that's all. All right, you guys. Well, I am going to say goodnight, and don't worry, we'll be doing lots more story times. Like I said, I am planning on doing a membership um, tier, I guess they call it, since I am now in the YouTube Partner Program. Woo! So excited, loving this so much. I hope you guys will help give me some feedback about what you'd like to see in my membership tiers, like story times. And one of the reasons that I'm going to have people pay for story times is because I don't want any trolls during story time. So if you really want to watch story time, and you really want story time, I think that I don't know, I'm going to make it like $5 or $6 a month. Not more than what you would tip a waitress. You know, just a kind of a piddly amount, but enough to make sure that the people watching really want to be here and do not troll us and do not, try to wreck story time for me and for you. So Maureen says, military personnel give up their freedom to ensure our freedom. They are confined to military bases, unable to spend holidays with families, etc., to ensure safety and freedom. And you know what? That's so true, Maureen. And here's one more thing that I want to say about veterans. And, it's not just about the veterans, too, but veterans' families. You really have to give it to them because they don't sign up. They don't choose for their loved ones to go to the war. And oftentimes they don't want them to go. And so it's really hard for them. So everybody, veterans and their families, have to put up with a lot. And I think they make up something like, what is it, 1% of our population? Very small amount of people, but very important. All right, you guys, don't worry, Darla. We'll keep doing story time. So I'm just gonna ask for a little amount. You would maybe buy a cup of coffee or something. If you can't afford it, let me know. I'll find a way to get you in. I don't know if I can gift it to people, but I certainly want everyone to be included. I just don't want the trolls to be included too. Oh, there's Annie. I saw posted where I lived at the public schools where I lived. Those students use any bathroom or lockers are not happy about it right now. Prayer for the public school. Yes, the insanity is going to end soon, Annie. I truly, truly believe that. I think our country is headed in the right direction now. All right, you guys. Well, ciao for now. We'll see you tomorrow on the Beach Report. And if I can get to sleep like really soon, I'm going to try to do a sunrise beach report. I'm not promising. You know me, it's hard in the morning. I did it this morning, but I didn't quite get the sunrise. I was close, but tomorrow I'm going to try. All right, I think, yeah, Annie's in Wisconsin. All right, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, hopefully at sunrise. Don't hold me to it, but it was really nice to do that today, so I'm going to do it again tomorrow, if I can. Again, I make no promises on that sunrise thing. Hi, Tamara. Oh, now everybody's coming on. What? All right, you guys. I love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow on the Beach Report.